beat 2 grown men.
Well, I mean,
it's incredible.
That's we're going live.
It's the only
we're
sport
live now.
that happens. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Hey, listen, we're live. We're live, America. Welcome to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin, presented by Offensively Creative, Dinsmore, Steele, and Volare. I'm not going to do the other part because it gets too long. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, I'm so excited today. Cesar Marin from Cultivating Wisdom. Thank you for being here.
Cesar, welcome, Cesar.
Welcome to the show.
Cesar, not that I don't like doing the show and talking about software as a service or insurance or whatever the fuck we talk about, but today we get to talk about drugs, and I could not possibly be happier. Well, I'm going to talk about drugs with a drug expert in drug medicine. Psilocybin. Yes, medicine. Sorry. See, I'm uneducated on the subject. I use the wrong terminology.
Drugs are at the pharmacy.
Drugs are at the. You're right.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Exactly, you're right.
I have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn, Cesar, and you're going to teach us, and I'm very excited about it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's fucking do it. All right. Okay. So, Cesar, I'm not sure if you've seen the show. Just kidding. I know you watch. But before we get to the news, we have to cover what National Day it is, because this is a stupid gimmick that I made and I'm really sticking to for some reason. I haven't found anything else.
I like it. I do. I like it.
It's not bad. I think it's a nice little segue before we get to the news. So today, 'tis the season. I don't know if you know, but it's almost Halloween. Today is National Pumpkin Day. Pumpkins.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
My understanding was that October 1st to October 31st was Pumpkin Month. Is that
well,
that's been canceled?
Yeah, no, it's good. It just has a day. But here, help me out here. What good is a fucking pumpkin? Because I looked into it. I just spot checked pumpkin pie recipes. Nothing calls for fresh pumpkin. It's all puree. What do you do with the pumpkin? Oh, pumpkin spice, you say? No pumpkins and pumpkin spice. You know what pumpkin spice is? No. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and cloves. Not a single pumpkin.
No pumpkin.
You mean they're not squeezing out pumpkins at Starbucks?
This whole time I thought they were squeezing fresh pumpkins to make lattes. And no, it turns out, yes, not a single pumpkin. I know, it's bullshit.
I was going to ask you guys, like, if pumpkin was an American stapler or something, because we don't eat pumpkin here either.
No one eats pumpkin. Yeah. I don't know what it like. I like Cesar. What do you get on pumpkin?
The best part of the pumpkin is the seeds.
The seeds are good. Seeds, yeah. Oh, you can roast them, salt them.
You know what pumpkins are good for, though? I think you guys might be missing the point. Pumpkins are good to sit on the porch for 3-4 weeks, and then we throw them out.
Yeah, but they're 50 cents a fucking pound. I just spent $100 on pumpkins. Why? I'm gonna throw them in the back. Yeah. I did want to say one thing though. There's a pumpkin artist that everyone should be aware of. His name is Ray Villafane. Have you ever seen this guy? Holy shit! Look at his pumpkins. Right?
Whoa!
Isn't that a beautiful look? It doesn't stop there. Look at the gorgeous work this man is doing with gourds. Holy shit! I know. Doesn't it there? Look at this. Robin, are you impressed with this guy's pumpkins?
That can't be just pumpkin, right? He's got to be adding like paint or something.
No, bro. No, I've seen it. I've seen it live. He does. That's just pumpkin.
Crazy.
Can I just say this? I carved a pumpkin. Nothing like this, obviously. I don't want to insinuate it, but I carved a pumpkin from a stencil one time, and I got to be honest, it was a witch flying, and it at a certain angle in the back. If you looked and closed one eye, it kind of looked like one. You know,
I know it's kind of cheating because you should only do triangles like an idiot. But yeah, stencils work. But have you ever seen the classic Arnold Schwarzenegger film Predator? Because look at this shit. Oh my God, he is a master of pumpkin carving. I got one more. President Obama. Oh, I know.
That's crazy.
How is he so good at this? It is fucking amazing.
You know who we should do next? I have an idea of who we should do next.
Rodney Steele.
Donald Trump.
No, because he's
already orange.
He's already orange.
Low hanging fruit.
I'm coming out hot today, guys.
We're not above anything on this show.
It's like I'm at the pickleball court.
But here's my question. What did this guy do from November to August?
Somehow I know. I did some research. He makes toys. He works for he's worked for a bunch of toy companies, so he does toy sculpts. Right?
I was thinking he was doing soap sculptures, but okay, makes sense.
He works in soap during the off season.
It's like,
yeah,
he makes soap recorders.
There's a strain, not to make everything about mushrooms, but there is a strain of psilocybin mushroom called hillbilly pumpkin mushrooms.
I'm sorry, hillbilly pumpkins.
Yes.
Are they Mountain Dew flavored? do they taste like fentanyl Mountain Dew? Hillbillies love Mountain Dew. I don't know if you know that.
Are they available in only West Virginia?
Yeah, exactly. They taste like chewing tobacco.
Chewing tobacco and racism. Welcome to hillbilly mushroom country. Yeah, you know how hillbillies are racist, right? All right. Let's get to the news. Robin, what do we got? Because I want to talk about mushrooms. Unfortunately,
actually, these news stories are really great today. There's so many talking points.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you will. So this one kind of baffles me, how we're constantly exploring other planets and trying to figure out, hey, can mankind live on Mars or space? Meanwhile, we've only really discovered like 5% of our own ocean. And earlier this week, scientists just discovered a landmass in the East Antarctic that's the size of Belgium. That's pretty big. So we have thousands of satellites in space, and somehow this landmass went on the radar for years. So they're saying we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about this landmass.
Yes. So let me. So scientists have discovered an ancient landscape hidden under an East Antarctic ice sheet for more than 14 million years. 14 million years. And then they have to argue with the general public about the shape of the Earth. And this is just constantly annoying me that scientists are so fucking smart. Here's a puzzle, by the way, for the flat earthers in your life. But you know what I mean? Don't you find it an odd dichotomy that we're like, oh, listen, 14 million years, it's under whatever. And they go, nope. Earth is flat. It's flat. Look at it.
But it still looks round. It's still round, right?
Dome.
Yeah, it's like a dome. I see, but a dome's round.
Right. Well, I don't listen. We're gonna get a flat earther on here to explain. One other thing, though, I'm too dumb to understand the true magnitude of this discovery, obviously. But I do know this. They said if this happens to melt, this ice sheet, we will go under 60 meters of water. Now, I don't know the metric system, so I had to, Google.
That's like 200 feet.
That's 200 feet. That's game over, man. That's it. If this melts,
we're done.
Water world. That's it. We're gonna be Kevin Costner.
It's the only hope. It's the only hope.
Caesar, are you concerned about this at all?
You know what? The world has been around for such a long time, right? It's sort of, humans have somehow survived, found a way to survive. But I think little by little we are destroying the planet, our own planet. So it is concerning. It is concerning a bit.
I think it was little by little, but it seems to be lot by lot now. I mean, there seems to be an awful lot of things that are going to threaten our existence. This being one of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, South Dakota real estate's looking real nice.
South Dakota real estate. I think South Dakota, if you look on a map of the world, it's right over.
I have a question now. Can you go back to that map?
This one?
This one here now. Now, is Poland Springs going to be getting their water from here? What's the story? Because this could be 14 million. Is it billion or million? How many years are we talking here?
It's 14 million. 14
million years in the making.
Years.
Yeah, that's a lot of fresh water. Here's the problem, though.
Soon,
hear me out. Soon there's going to be too much water. That's the thing. We don't want any more water. We need less water, from what I understand. I'm no.
So then my question is, hold on, because I remember a couple of weeks ago you said cars could run on water. Do you remember that? Salt water, I believe it was.
Well, I wanted cars to run on water. It turns out they can run on.
Now it seems we can. Now it seems they can.
Okay, good. Well, we're solving problems left, right, and center on the Eric and Rodney show. All right. Speaking of threats to our very existence, what's the next story?
Oh, no. So while we have the whole conflict in Gaza, there's something that we still kind of have to keep our eye on. It's kind of even a bigger threat is Putin. So it was broadcast on Russian state TV that there was a rehearsed massive nuclear strike exercise. So people are all worried, of course, because why would you rehearse delivering a nuclear strike if you weren't planning to use one? And then another thing, why would you at the same time be transporting batches of nuclear weapons to the border of Belarus? That's questionable.
They claim that they're just doing it in case they get attacked with a nuclear weapon. It has nothing to do with being aggressive and moving into Ukraine. Nothing at all. It's just if we happen to attack them, they just know. Well, they say they do this every October. It's like pumpkin season. That's where Russia conducts their.
Grab a couple of pumpkins, move the nukes.
Yeah, exactly. National Nuclear Weapon Day.
It's National Nuclear Weapon Month, so Russia's just doing their due diligence.
You got your list, and it's like grab the milk, the bread, move the nukes, and a pumpkin. Got it. I'm on it.
Vladimir's due list.
Let's check this out.
I was going to take this opportunity to make fun of Putin, so I Googled sexy Putin. So I just want to show you what comes up because the internet. All right, this is vaguely sexy Putin, right? Not bad. But then the second one, Putin riding a bear. Okay, but then
is that real? Is that a real picture?
Doesn't it seem like it's something Vladimir Putin would do? Is ride?
Because I gotta be completely honest.
The original photo was on a horse.
if he was able to tame a bear, I cannot imagine what in the world's going on in Ukraine. He would just set the bears loose. Handle my business.
So you're saying if he could tame a big dumb animal, things would be a little better? Well, have I got great news for you? He's managed to tame this big dumb animal.
I knew it was possible. That is a bear. It was a bear.
But wait. Evidently, Trump and Putin shirts are a whole industry on the internet. Just so you know, you can get this one, which is.
Oh, that one's criminal.
That one's not bad, right? But then this one is this one's almost gone. If you look in the lower left-hand corner, so if you want this, you got to head over.
This one might be my favorite. Now, is this vegan or no?
This is made out of 100% vegan cotton. Yes, not bad.
No,
right?
the leather.
Oh, the leather vegan. They didn't specify the leather. I don't know.
Okay.
Look at Trump.
I'm so happy. Isn't it weird though that this guy's gonna kill us all? It's gonna be it. He sends one, we send one over, everybody else gets involved. Iran, and it's lights out for humanity because of this fuck. It's sad, isn't it?
It's sad.
It is sad.
One dude can have so much control.
Do you think he needs some mushrooms? Do you think mushrooms would help? If you were gonna diagnose him, what kind of mushrooms do you think could calm him the fuck down?
I would send him first on an ayahuasca trip.
Oh, ayahuasca
in Peru, Colombia. Have him sit with some ayahuasca. Have him really sort of go deep feeling to see where his, inner child trauma comes from. You know what I mean? Didn't even get enough vodka when he was a child or something to figure out what's wrong. But I would start with ayahuasca, and then I'd put him on a good 4 days on, 3 days off microdose protocol.
So you were saying right now that you could save the planet if you were to give Vladimir Putin your mushroom protocol. That's a bold statement, but I hope you're right.
I think so.
You know what?
Yes.
Here's my question, right? And I'm asking for a friend. I am a firm subscriber to Man in the Mirror. You may have heard the classic by Michael Jackson.
I was going to say
I would love to solve Vlad's problems, but how can we solve our problems?
What are our problems?
Yeah, what are our options? Ayahuasca and a steady dose.
Oh, our problem, like me, you, and
our problems. Yeah,
okay,
I'm not. Yeah. Vlad's doing Vlad. You know what I mean? I can't help him.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I think everyone should start on a nice microdosing protocol, right? Sort of get in that flow state, not sub-perceptual. You're not feeling high. You're feeling very good about yourself. You're feeling very good about the world, about what's going on. And then once the medicine says, okay, let's go for a deep dive, go for a good 4 gram deep dive, 5 gram deep dive into what's really holding you back, what holds you back. I mean, that's look, it opens up that consciousness of what is it that holds me? What is it that fear that has me paralyzed? What is it? Why don't I go through these things? I think I think everyone could benefit from it.
Okay, I have a question. What if my problem is that I'm not high? Can I take enough to feel high? Because I feel like that's generally my problem in life, and that I have to be sober for the vast majority of every day.
It's sort of intentions, right? If your intentions are, I want to get high, then tell the medicine, hey, you know what? I just want to get high.
I think the medicine knows because it's like
they have medicine it's showtime.
The medicine goes, how much of me is he going to eat? Jesus fucking Christ!
This guy's eating it like he's eating the pizza. This ain't a buffet. Get out of here.
I like our philosophy that it's sort of, start slow and then go. It's like I tell people, you can always take more. You can never take less.
It's very hard to get it out of you once it's in you. I know. I tried.
That's a good point.
All right, listen. I want to talk about mushrooms. So we have to get through this news.
Wait, there's more news. I thought we were done with the news. I was hoping we were done with the news.
No, we have some more hilarious news stories.
Hold on, these are still great, Rodney.
Come on. We've gone from the water's going to kill us to nukes are going to kill us. Let's go. What's going to save us?
Okay, all right. To be fair, things are going to get brighter. They're going to get brighter any second now. So, Robin, what's the next news story?
Actually, any second. Yeah, this is not brightening anyone's day, actually.
No.
So it's been quite a long time since we heard anything about Celine Dion, I think. Very iconic voice, probably one of the most iconic female voices in music ever. Yes. I actually think that her voice is a little bit annoying. And well, I'm not the only one, because apparently there's a whole town in New Zealand that's kind of pissed off because there are a bunch of goons playing her music at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they're blasting it from sirens.
Goons?
So apparently,
what is a goon?
Yeah,
a criminal? Somebody who blasts Celine Dion at 2 a.m.
Oh, I thought it was a criminal.
Yo, okay, so I was so confused at this story because they were blasting Celine Dion from speakers that are usually reserved for emergency signals. So I was thinking, why is the town letting these fucking idiots use emergency signals? Oh no. They got a hold of them. So they fucking bought these things. They strap them to cars, and then they blast Celine Dion all night long. And they go, we just like to dance and have fun. Everyone has a hobby. You should be put to death. Can you fucking imagine? Look at this shit. They're just doing this to be a dick. And one more thing on my rant. This would only happen in a country that's banned guns. Because under a normal, so you try this shit in the United States, we're going to shoot you. But now they just, can you please turn your fucking music down? And wait.
You try that in a small town.
Try that in a small town, sir. Yeah, we need some hillbillies in New Zealand. Straighten this shit out. Look at this, though. Even if you don't have a car, they're strapping them to their fucking bikes.
Where these guys are in New Zealand too?
Yes, it's all a New Zealand thing. So these kids just blast music. I see. And then they call the cops, and the cops like turn it down, and they turn it back up, and they play Celine Dion because I guess there's very little bass in Celine Dion songs. It's all treble, which is extra annoying when it comes out of these things. I don't know, man.
So it's just being annoying. Now it's just
No, it's just because they like to dance. They just like to dance at 2 a.m. Cesar to little Celine Dion from fucking 18,000 emergency siren speakers. Jeez.
What do they dance to? The Titanic song? Like which one?
I think they all sit around and cry to that Titanic song. That song's very emotional, isn't it?
Well, let's all hope and pray that their hearts will go on.
I get a little teary-eyed, don't you? Doesn't you cry a little during Titanic?
I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. The most surprising part of this story is that these guys are listening to Celine Dion. I mean,
I know they don't look like the Celine Dion type.
Like if it was me, I would use Tiny Tim tiptoeing through the tulips. That really.
That shit
or Weird Al Yankovic. You know what I mean? That stuff will really get people going. Or Adam Sandler's debut album. Remember that one?
They're all gonna laugh at you.
Medium pace. Oh my god.
Take that shampoo bottle and shove it up my ass. That classic.
Yeah,
no, that's good.
Love that kind of stuff. You really want to get people going. That's where you get them going. What these are, or Sam Kinison? These guys are amateurs.
I hope these kids aren't listening. Rodney, you're giving them ideas.
I know.
Well,
what did you call them? Call the New Zealand Goon Authority and let them know that they should be playing Weird Al Yankovic.
I mean, I could give them an entire list of albums. DMX.
Oh,
guys.
Dude,
come on, guys.
DMX is a little too basic.
So much I can listen to.
Cesar, your audio is a little. You're going in and out. Is there something you want to?
Now? Is that bad? Is that better?
Well, we need to hear you. It's going to be very important because you're going to tell me my medicine.
We don't know anything.
Medicine?
No, I need to make sure you guys are hearing me.
The world needs to hear you. We'll see. You talk during this next segment. Okay, what's next?
Okay.
Blast. Oh, now you sound better. Okay, Robin.
Okay.
What else we got?
Oh, this one's really ugly. So I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning. So just for the people that really love cats, this might make you a little bit sick. I will say this, the story does have a happy ending. So it's not that bad, but at the same time, we kind of like to say the first time you get caught with something is probably not the first time you're doing it, right? So the police in China, they were intercepting a truck, and they found out after they were tipped by an animal activist group that there were 1,000 cats on their way to a slaughterhouse, and they were going to be processed into pork and lamb. Well, at least they were going to sell it as that. So I don't know. It's a really sad story.
This is a cat on the streets of China looking as terrified as it probably should be. This is you got to
tread lightly. It's a little cutie. Oh, he is. He's a little cutie.
Like how? Come on, you're gonna eat those. You're gonna eat these.
They're babies, little tiny babies.
Oh, look, you're so cute. And
you know, when they're small like that, they have their paws like that. You can take and they're like looking at. They don't know about whiskers, and they're looking around. They're adorable.
I know. And now, and you want to eat this thing? So they're being sold. Oh, okay. This story is fucking dark, man. I hate that I read this. And I'm really.
Oh God.
I don't. I'm not like a cat guy. I own cats. I like my cats. I don't give a shit about anybody else's cats. But eating cats seems like a bridge too far. You know the theory that we only eat ugly animals? I think that holds up generally. And these aren't ugly animals. So they caught 1,000. Was it 1,000 cats that were about to go to the slaughterhouse? Evidently, that's $20,000 worth of cat meat. Each cat's about 4 pounds worth of meat. Each pound of cat meat is $4. So it's a big industry. You know if they've priced it out, that there's an underground market for this shit. So yeah, it's sold as
there's a trading floor.
There's a trading floor for cat meat. And One more thing. There's still a dog meat festival in China, and I was going to pull up a picture of it, and I'm famously not a fan of dogs. I couldn't do it. Did never, ever Google Chinese dog meat festival. It's the worst shit you'll ever see on there.
Yeah.
Was that in Wuhan? No, right?
No, that's the
Oh,
bad.
right. No, I'm sorry. That's right.
You're
That's the
thinking
bad.
about the bad soup
Yes,
festival.
that's right.
Oh, Lordy, sweet Jesus, we're eating
The
cats.
bad soup.
So I actually looked into this a little bit, but like the average Chinese person is actually very much against eating dogs and cats. It's just like a particular province in China that like it's a real big thing. And they say it's like traditional food. So I don't know.
But oh man, between the cat eating cats, eating dogs, and the shark fin thing, man, God, there's so many other animals that I would imagine taste better than these things.
You know what these people need?
Pork,
a red lobster,
a red lobster,
and an Olive Garden.
A McDonald's, a McChicken,
unlimited bread and what is it? Breadsticks and salad.
Unlimited breadsticks and salad. Yeah, that's gonna cure this. I read this article out loud to my cats though to keep them in line. I'll be like, I will ship you fucking to China. I don't give a shit.
And were they like this?
They looked at me with sad, adorable eyes, and then I couldn't do it because I can't eat cats. I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, this has. In the very last sentence of this article, they talked about during COVID, they were euthanizing people with COVID's pets, and they were famously there was a video of a man beating a corgi to death with a shovel because its owner had COVID. So China's not a big fan of cats and dogs.
That's rough.
I know. No. Beating a corgi. Listen, again, I don't like dogs. I don't think I could beat a corgi to death with a shovel. Jesus Christ.
I have an idea for a TV show. You ready for it real quick?
Wasn't that a happy story?
Where we take animal abusers, child abusers, and have your way with them. What does the audience feel like we should do?
Can't we put them in a room with the subway guy? What if we expose them to Jared?
I think we drop them off in Ukraine or now in Gaza and say, show us your best.
Right. You like to hit animals? Oh boy. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that cat. It's scared. I know. But here's the thing now. They get 1,000 of these cats that need adopting. So that's a problem. Yep. You think there's 1,000 people out there that need cats? They're going to euthanize. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, let's talk about something happy. What else we got?
Hopefully something happy, my lord.
Right, this one's actually kind of happy. So the last one's a bit fascinating. It's about how modern medicine and science is extremely impressive. And I think for like the past 100 years, technology has really exploded. So for the first time in history, we have a completely healthy man that is running on the heart of a pig. That's not an expression for anything. He literally has a pig's heart.
Yes.
So this was after he had heart failure and he didn't meet the requirements to get a human donor. Yep. So they did this experiment where they put a pig's heart, and it worked brilliantly, actually.
Oh boy. So I read about this in this book. I'm trying to get the author on the show, Evolving Ourselves. This was written in 2015, and he said someday CRISPR is going to be able to edit a human heart, and it's going to be exactly like your heart. And oh my God, 8 years later, it fucking happened, and it worked. So this guy on the left received a pig heart that was edited to his genome, and it's fucking working. He's doing fine. The guy on the right is the doctor that performed the procedure. That's a pig edited heart going into his chest. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Where did this happen at?
In the United States. I don't know where exactly. Something tells me not Florida, not one of the flyover states. One of the good states. This is him right after surgery, and he looks fine, doesn't he? Look at the nipple.
Fuck's sake.
Is that apparatus vegan leather?
That's vegan leather. That's a vegan nipple ring as well.
This is the final boss, Jimmy.
He looks great, doesn't he? From that to that. But here's the thing. So CRISPR pigs is a thing. So they took the pig heart, they knocked out 3 genes, they added 6 human genes, and for good measure, they threw in 1 extra human gene to make sure that the heart doesn't grow to pig heart size. Bada bingo, bada bango, 10 gene edits, and you got yourself a brand new heart. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Wow.
Now, where did they come up with the idea for a pig heart? Like, why a pig?
From our show.
Yeah.
We were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, these guys are genius."
Try pig.
Exactly. I happen to know this answer because I read Evolving Ourselves by Enrique, whatever the fuck his name is. So pigs are genetically the closest to humans when it comes to extra parts. So
I did not know that.
They spec. So if
chimps?
you read, I don't know. You know what? You would think that, right? But in God Is Not Great, they mentioned how they even know back then how closely related humans were to pigs. So that's why the Bible says you shouldn't eat them. Also, rotten pork will kill you. But yeah, we've always had a weird sort of kinship with pigs. And now, okay, so what this guy was saying is that someday they're just going to be able to download your genome into a pig. And if you need lungs, pig lungs. If you need a heart, pig heart. If you need a liver, so you can drink however the fuck you want. Just get your pig's liver. Bada bingo, bada bango. You can have as many pigs as you want. You could blow all your organs. It doesn't fucking matter. The pig has them. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
I know.
I mean,
anything you want. But here's the thing. One more thing on this rant. Only rich people are going to have access to this technology. So you're going to have rich people living forever, while the poor's not going to be able to afford a fucking pig. A whole pig that's gene edited to your specifications. Poor people aren't going to get them. So what you're going to have is the Elon Musk's living 1,000 years, the Warren Buffett's living 1,000 years, the Bezoses, and we're all going to die like a bunch of assholes.
I think our challenge wouldn't be affording the pig. I think our challenge would be affording the operation and the surgeon.
I think the whole thing sounds very pricey to me.
It's like you ever go to the doctor, they're like, "Who's your surgeon?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to cover my pig heart transplant either. Some tells me it's an out-of-pocket cost if I want to live.
Yeah, I feel like it will be.
And is there going to be a farm? Is there going to be a market for pigs who are going to be used for human transplant organs?
Well, from what I understand, they're going to go, all right, so they're going to go, you have congestive heart failure. You're going to, oh, holy shit. They're going to, but great news. We have your genome. We can raise a pig. I don't think it takes that long. I think 6 months they're like serviceable. So as long as you can hold on, or I think the alternative that this guy was saying is you could just harvest the pig, have it waiting for you. And then if something happens, you're like, well, go get his spleen. I need a new spleen.
Now, what happens to the pig? It dies? Or can
I think you get the bacon. I think they give you the rest of it.
He gets the human one.
He gets the human one, yeah.
Would you eat, like, say all they need is the lungs and it's going to kill the pig, but the rest of it's fine, the pork chops, the bacon. Would you eat pork? Like,
I gotta be honest, there's a lot of fat in it.
Free bacon.
There's a lot of fat in it. I don't know if I could. I don't want to clog up my heart. I don't want to clog up me and the pig's heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But genetically speaking, it's your fat.
Well, you know the other thing too, right? Remember how they said that how people would say you're pig-headed? Now they can say you're pig-hearted.
That's true.
Pig-hearted. Yeah.
I hope they find the jerk chicken gene so they can like pre-marinate the I like jerk sauce a lot. I like it on pork. It's delicious. Barbecue. Oh, sure. Tasty. All right, Cesar. I want to talk about medicine. Are you ready to talk about medicine? Yeah. It's the medicine in my drawer right here. As a matter of fact.
Exactly. Nice.
Okay. Before I ask specific questions, can you give us the hero's journey, the origin story, how you went from CNN, which is where I want to work someday, to doing a whole bunch of medicine? Give us the rundown, if you would, please, sir.
The rundown. So it's crazy because this was about a year ago. This was actually about exactly a year ago when I had my first psychedelic experience. 54 years old, never had a psychedelic experience before, had done other recreational substances, but nothing, you know what I mean? No psychedelics. And it just so happened someone close to me had a psychedelic experience. Said, oh my God, I felt like a child. It was incredible. It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was just beautiful. A couple weeks later, I encountered someone else on a huge bike right here in Atlanta, and they're like, looks like a child. And he says, oh yeah, I just did some mushrooms and I feel like a child again. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Why are these mushrooms calling me? And it just so happens that the medicine came into my life right when I was about to get laid off at CNN. I'd been at CNN for 25 years. A typical corporate job, had gone from, entry-level assignment desk to producing half-hour, 15-minute sports shows. And the medicine just comes into my life when the writing is on the wall that CNN was bought out by Discovery, and I knew I was going to be a number on a spreadsheet. How long has he been here? How much does he make? And the medicine comes into my life. I have this first big psychedelic experience Monday before Halloween, and everything just opens up my perceptions to the world, to life, to living in the now, to really knowing that the beautiful moments happen right now, not in the past. They don't happen in the past. They don't happen in the future. They happen at this moment. And my life completely gets turned around. There's a moment where I start microdosing and I want to find a way to manifest the fact that, hey, dude, I'm using mushrooms. I was able to overcome a cannabis addiction that I had. I'm sort of feeling good about myself. I'm starting, to have these ideas and I want to manifest it. But the only thing out there is very tie-dye. It's very hippie. It's very psychedelic, and any dude with gray hair wears something like that, what are they going to say? He's a hippie.
You love the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, they're like, "Where's the Dead show?"
Yeah, exactly. Go pull out your Grateful Dead 8-tracks, old man. You know what I mean? Go listen to that. And my whole world gets shifted. I started an apparel company called Cultivating Wisdom, which offers up apparel that's non-tie-dye, that's not psychedelic. It opens up conversations. Shirts like this that say microdosing on it, which opens up these conversations. Someone comes up and says, "Hey, you microdose? I've heard about that. I've read about that. Can
That's
you
smart.
cultivate me with some of your wisdom?" You know, or someone says, "Oh, you microdose? So do I. How's it going? What are you microdosing? How are you feeling? Have you felt this? I felt that." So it's starting these conversations. It's making psychedelics a little bit more acceptable and talked about without it being, "Oh yeah, there's some hippie dude who's off stoning. There he is." Yeah. So that's how all of this started. And then as I share my experience more on my social media, more and more people are coming up to me and saying, "Okay, can you help me? Can you teach me? Can you cultivate me with some wisdom on how you started, how to go, how do I, what protocol should I use? How much should I dose?" And I realized, wait a minute, there's a way for me to use my voice to become this thought leader for my generation, for Generation Xers who were so programmed. I mean, we were just, psychedelics are bad, they're horrible, you're gonna lose your brain. I know people in loony bins because they did psychedelics. Bullshit. You don't know anybody in a loony bin that's on psychedelics. It's sort of,
all right, can I ask you a couple questions now? Like I don't want to interrupt, but first of all,
I have a bunch of questions too. Go on there.
All right, I'm gonna ask my first two. So you have a shirt that says microdosing, and people come up and go, "Holy shit, I microdose." Can I get a shirt that says cocaine fueled threesomes? Do you think that would maybe I would find my people? Second question.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would.
I love cocaine fueled
threesomes.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? All right. The other question I have is, how the fuck Gen X? So this is, I think I'm on the cusp of X. I was born in 80. I'm like a zillennial, whatever the fuck you call them. How did you grow up in the 80s, which were coke fueled, and Scarface, the whole fucking, like, the 80s were wild. How did psychedelics become villainized? Yeah, you live in Miami, exactly. How the fuck?
I mean, I got it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, I was thinking the 60s and the 70s, how are these people lame? How did fucking Gen X get lame with psychedelics? I don't understand it. Like, why is that the villainized drug when you're doing everything else?
Right.
I guess because, again, it's sort of it came with that stigma of, like, you're going to lose your mind. It's horrible. It's crazy. And since the science was shut down, the science that was really showing that the advancement in psychedelics was completely shut down, it wasn't until Johns Hopkins finally said, "Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. Let's try to do some more studies with psychedelics," that things opened up. But it's incredible that there was 40 years there where it was just like, psychedelics are horrible, psychedelics are bad.
Do you think they got thrown in with like LSD, because LSD was famously, people would lose their mind. You have all these okay. So you think just psychedelics, they were throwing the baby out with the bathwater with psilocybin?
They all got lumped in there. They all got lumped in there because it was making people think freely. It was making people that counterculture of, let's be against the war. Let's have, civil rights movements. And the government was like, wait a minute. No. Let's shut this down.
Imagine having a population that loved peace and spirituality. Wouldn't that be a fucking disaster? Oh, I'm so glad we don't have that.
Right?
Oh, horrible. No, please, no.
Mass shootings are much better. So, we gambled on the right pony. Did you guys? I have a million questions, but if you guys want to go, Rodney.
Yeah, I actually have a question. So I'm asking for Robin. So how did your journey start? Like what was the first foray into it?
The first foray was much.
That's why. Yeah. So it was. So you went on you took a medicine and then you went on a visit. Is that right?
It's funny because the first time I tried psychedelics, I'm sort of ignorant to it. I get a chocolate bar and I eat a piece of the chocolate bar and thinking, you know what, that's going to get me high. And at the time, like I said, I was battling a kind of addiction. I was looking for this new high. I was looking for something, a different high. And as I sort of take that small little piece of chocolate, it's a microdose. And I'm like, okay, well, where's all the hallucination? Where's all the visuals? Where's all the, crazy shit I was supposed to have? And it wasn't until a week later that I ate half of the chocolate bar, which was the true awakening, which was, wait a minute, this is what my hands feel like.
Yeah.
And that's what the air sense is like. And look at all the greens in the tree. And it was crazy because I tell people that first experience was crazy in a way, because as incredible as all this sensory adaptation and magnification was, there was a moment as I'm driving home, and again, I'm driving home, and the lights in the highway are going off like fireworks. It was like something inside my conscious all of a sudden goes, why are you driving this way? Like, why are you driving this way? I mean, you can get pulled over by the cops, you can get arrested, there's so many things that could happen. So there was this consciousness, there was this awakening, which I feel, to me, that's what the mushrooms do, right? They awaken you to this consciousness of the now. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's going on? There's a bit more of, you're not so much your thoughts, but you're the conscious of your thoughts. Why is this going on? And that's what really the mushrooms have done to me. They've awakened.
I have another question too. I actually have two more. Can I ask one more? Okay, so when you did that, were you alone or you were just?
No. Okay. So that first journey, that first sort of awakening, I was with 300 people on bicycles in Atlanta. It was like
what?
It was crazy.
They're all
it was
mushrooms?
Like, it wasn't. No. I don't know who was on mushrooms. Like, but I know I
don't think they did either.
Your first time on mushrooms, you were around 300 people on bikes.
Yeah,
yo, you're out of your fucking mind. You need YouTube and
you're a wild man.
It was now I'm going to preface this by saying, and this is something that people who don't know about, especially psilocybin, especially about mushrooms, that the effects of a half a gram journey is very completely different than a 2 gram journey or a 3 gram journey or a 4 gram journey, right? So that day it was about half a chocolate bar. Chocolate bar had 3 grams, 3.5 grams. So you figure it was a little bit less than 2 grams, right? So it's about 1.5 grams to sort of that awakening that, okay, I've been on journeys where it's like, there's no way I can even walk, let alone get on a bicycle. So that day wasn't that full blown out experience where it's like everything is just going at 1,000,000 miles. It was enough perception to sort of be in that moment, in that realization of like, this is what it's all about. Now and Rodney, I love that question about, were you alone? Where I tell people that's not really a good idea. That's not really a good idea to sort of sit with any type of psychedelics alone, because a lot of things can come up. So it's always this make sure setting is the most important part of any psychedelic experience, right? Your mindset, absolutely. How are you doing? And then your setting, where you are, what's going on, who's with you, who's going to be there to contain, to help you say, okay, what's on your mind after this journey? What's the challenge for you? How are you feeling? What are you going to do moving forward? You don't need someone to sit there and be a therapist, and you just need someone who loves you, who cares about what's going on. So it is important that if you are thinking of having a psychedelic experience, that somehow there's someone there to help.
Yeah.
You speak in the language of sort of spirituality now. Did you always were you your background? So you went from 0 to holy shit in 365 days, right? You went from never doing it to doing it microdosing all the time. All the art in the back is
mushrooms everywhere.
You have mushrooms everywhere. You're wearing a mushroom shirt. Did you always speak this
mushroom
way?
Necklace.
Yeah, you're very much. Yeah, they've taken over. I think you got to get a brain scan. I'm worried about you. But did you always speak this way? Were you always in tune with spirituality to some degree, or is this a total 180 for you?
I think I was always in tune with who I am, but not to this extent. Right? Like I've always been a loving, caring, let's sort of be mindful type person, but not to the extent that it is now, where it's like I walk around wanting to smile at everyone I see because I know someone might need that smile. I walk around wanting to hug, anyone who's willing to take a hug because you don't know who needs a hug. So the mushrooms have really opened me up to that real authenticness of who I can potentially be and who I am deep inside. And that's what the happiness, that's where the happiness comes from, right? Happiness comes from being authentic, right? And if you're authentic being an asshole, and that makes you happy, then that's you.
So there's hope for us, Eric. Eric, there's hope for us.
I was going to say.
A lot of people discover compassion on their first mushroom trip.
They discover passion?
Yes.
Compassion.
Oh, compassion.
Yeah.
Well, to your point, like when you said the thing about your hands, like sometimes during my psychedelic experiences, the first time I floated in a sensory deprivation tank, I went outside and wind almost made me cry, that was totally antithetical to my being. Like I'm me, I'm a dick. I fucking hate everything. I'm a borderline alcoholic. But then wind, I never really felt wind before. And we talk about your hands, and it's difficult to explain these sensations to someone who's never done it. But I think more people should do it. You get very in tune with things. You call attention to things you would never do before. You get in tune with other people. It's fucking amazing. And why this is illegal continues to baffle me.
Totally. It's amazing the things that are legal and the things that are illegal, which is just, it's completely.
Let me ask you a question. It's not illegal everywhere, right? It's like,
no, correct.
There are certain states. Yeah.
There's Oregon. Oregon is now opening up therapy for psychedelics. So is Colorado.
DC.
There's a lot of cities, Eureka, DC.
Salem, Massachusetts just decriminalized it. Thank you, Massachusetts. That's within driving distance.
Thank you. Yeah.
But so are doctors now also prescribing mushrooms in America, or is it's just like
no, it's illegal on the federal level.
Okay.
Yeah, and the federal level is still illegal.
I have another question too. I'm just curious, like, you know how like the crime fighters, I'll say, not necessarily the police, the crime fighters are always like, you know, coming up with these new cases and stuff, but no one ever seems to go to jail, right, from Wall Street or the banks. I was thinking about it, like, I never really hear about marijuana places getting you know, taken under, or they're looking for cocaine or fentanyl or whatever it is. You never hear about, like, we've busted this man growing mushrooms in his house, got him this time.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. I guess my point is, I think that just flies under the radar. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm saying I don't think that people understand it enough to know whether you're growing shiitakes or you got something else going on.
That's true.
I got something else going on. It's funny because there's a lot of cities that are trying to do that are trying to sort of put psychedelics and plant medicine on the lower end of what cops should be going after. I mean, there's so much other shit that cops are going to be, you know what I mean? And that's like I tell people, are like, oh yeah, but it's illegal. I go, nobody's going to come knocking on your door saying, hey, I've heard you have some mushrooms in there. Here you have a little grow kit that you're growing your own medicine. Let's arrest you.
Thank God.
Unless you're
right. I mean, that's my point.
Right. They're giving us this. It's illegal, but it's a wink and a nod. And it's like the fact that it's illegal anyway is fucking bad shit. If they were to
like on the subway, right? You can drink. You just got to have it in a cover.
Yeah, put it in a Yeti and you're fine.
Yeah,
so
no one cares.
Cesar, mushrooms are strange because I think you can take them recreationally and have a great time. But you're also saying that they have healing properties, or they're good for what? Depression, anxiety. Veterans have they're studying post-traumatic stress.
There's incredible studies going on. There's incredible studies going on with end of life treatment. Emory University here in Atlanta has a sympathy and psychedelics department. So they're using their hospital staff to go and say, okay, how can we use psilocybin to help these people who are close to end of death, right? To sort of come to grips with either their illness that they're dealing with, the fact that they're close to dying.
Oh, Jesus. I think Cesar just died.
No.
Well, listen, while he gets back here, the three of us, we've dabbled in psychedelics, have we not? Can we admit that on this show?
I've heard of them.
Well, I know a guy that can get you some. I just continue to his point about like end of life care. If you're dying, why would you take something away from somebody that could potentially help in that situation? We've talked about this on the show. The one charity that's near and dear to my heart is the home base program, because 22 veterans kill themselves every day. Obviously, what we have isn't working. Why not try something that might? And this seems to be, I'm not like I believe in modern medicine, but this seems to be an area where it's totally ignored. Modern medicine does not care about psychedelics, and I think it's conceptually bizarre.
Yeah, because I think modern medicine isn't that modern.
Maybe,
or you know what? I'll say modern medicine isn't that forward.
But why? Why not?
You know what? Something I always think about too. Not to get off on a tangent, but I always think about, like, when you start a business, right? And you own a company, and this isn't a pitch. I'm just right, like. Who in the world ever thought it was a good idea to be like, you know what? Let's make sure that the company has to take care of the employee benefits. Like, that just seems crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, why wouldn't the government handle this? Right?
In most countries, they do. I believe we're the only country where the government doesn't handle you can have a heart attack and lose a house.
Yeah.
I want Cesar back so we can talk about. While he's gone, everybody go get yourself a microdosing shirt if you microdose. I do want to talk about microdosing though, because I do believe it's like getting a little bit drunk, and that's not something that I support. I think you should.
You're a fan of macrodosing, right?
I'm a fan of macrodosing. I'm a fan of macro everything. If I want the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, for example. I don't want to be 2-5. I want to drink a lot. I don't want to drink a little. I want to do a lot of drugs.
My problem with macrodosing is on psychedelics is very unpredictable. You don't really know what's going to happen or what you're going to think about. And Cesar was kind of talking about like how he prefers to have someone with him on the journey. I'm kind of the exact opposite. Like I have a bad trip when I'm with someone because I'm thinking about, because I'm thinking about what they're thinking about or how their trip is going. Whereas when I'm just doing it by myself, I have the freedom to just create my own journey.
That's it. I've never had a bad trip. I've never even had anything that was resembling a bad trip. I think because I think you got to do a lot of drugs. And then once you do that, you know, you're on drugs and you can control, like I go, it's fake. It's fake. So I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? I've read that somewhere that happens to you. You're like, I'm fine. You know, people will be like, I can't even see my eye. I'm like, give it 10 minutes. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing about mushrooms too. It's like a roller coaster in the sense that it changes. Like sometimes it's loopy, sometimes it's the thing, sometimes you're going up, sometimes you're out of your fucking mind. It's a delight. Oh, thank God he's back. Yeah. Oh, Cesar, we missed you. What happened?
Oh my God.
So what happens when you don't pay your internet bill? Because you're buying mushrooms.
Medicine.
Hey, your audio is also perfect now.
Yeah, now your audio is.
Yeah. But my audio's better now.
Yeah. Oh, you're back. The audio's better. Everything's good.
So we were talking about the studies that are being done on end-of-life treatment. Yeah. So definitely there is a lot of studies. Veterans are finding that, you know, PTSD, they've been able to sort of help them deal with those situations. So there's a lot of advancements going on. And look, the fact that you have Johns Hopkins, NYU, Berkeley, Emory University, you have major institutions studying psychedelics, sort of goes back to the point that there's a lot of potential hope here.
Yeah, I wanted to pull up Christina's thing too. That last thing, I think I do it for shock value, but you're doing it.
Yeah,
you're doing God's work. I'm glad you're on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. Yeah. Again, it's this education. It's what I want people to see is go, okay, that they see me and they go, wait a minute, there's a father, there's a husband, there's a son, there's an entrepreneur, he votes, he volunteers. And yes, he uses psychedelics. He uses them as a life performance enhancer. That's what it's about.
I've said this a million times. It really stuck with me. It was in a Gladwell book, and I think it was in The Tipping Point, but somebody was talking about how children learn, and they said one of the major obstacles in a toddler's mind is that an apple can both be round and red. So the idea that one thing can be two things. My pervasive theory is that it never stops. We always think in like real stupid heuristics. So you can't possibly be a responsible adult with 3 kids who worked at CNN for 25 years and do psychedelics. Those things are mutually exclusive, when the fact is they are not at all. That we can all be complex, textured things, right? And you're a classic example. And thank God you're doing it, because when I do it, people think I'm an asshole.
No, and again, look, there's no, and Eric said it correctly. It's sort of, mushrooms are this thing that it could either be used as medicine or it could be used recreationally, right? It's all these intentions that you have. And that's where I tell people, make sure that you have some type of intention, because when you don't have intentions, that's when some things can go haywire. It's like my wife says, look, bad trips, it's not going to take you to Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not going to take you to Freddy Krueger's house. It's not going to take you to Jason's house. It's going to take you to your own demons. And are you ready to face those? Are you prepared to be face to face with challenges that you have in your own world? So
I think maybe that's the reason we were talking when you were gone, that I've never had a bad trip. Have you had bad trips?
Have I had a bad trip? About
you two have some demons to work out. What happened?
Yeah. So this was about 4 or 5 months ago, and I went in with great intentions, figuring out where Cultivating Wisdom goes next. What should I do? You know, where do we take this? You know, myself, where do I go? And the medicine was like, okay, well, I got to tell you something, buddy. And I spent about 3.5 hours pretty much as a cancer patient about to die. Whoa. And it felt like I was sick. It felt like I was dying. I looked in the mirror and I just looked like I was decrepitly ready to go. And it was just incredibly uncomfortable. And it was like, okay, this is what it's going to feel like. But why am I feeling this? And the medicine was like, look, here's what's going on. You've started this whole new business and you're full in and you're gung-ho. What happened to your exercise routine? What happened to that? Where'd that go? No, because you're off, you know, answering emails, and you're off doing this, and you're off trying to figure out, you know, what you do next. What happened to your eating regimen? What happened to that? No, now you're in your office, you're going upstairs, grabbing whatever you can to eat, coming downstairs. What if you don't really take care of that? All this other dreams you have of cultivating wisdom and about, you know, educating people, you're not going to be around to see it.
Wow.
So
your mushrooms taught you less on balance. Holy shit. What
exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. The mushrooms were like, you know what? This is what you need to do. Go back to your exercise routine. You know what I mean? Wake up an hour earlier if you need to. Meal prep again, so you have good meals and you're not just eating shit at whatever time. And then you'll go from there. And it's from then it was like, okay, I get it. And it was challenging, man. It was 4.5 hours of deep stuff. And I also had not too long ago, I had been invited to a retreat in Jamaica. There was a heavy duty healing retreat. And the second day I got to sit with 7 grams, and that was also challenging. That was also
right, so 7 grams per perspective. I don't know if the audience does a lot of mushrooms, but 5 grams is what they call the heroic dose.
Heroic dose.
You're supposed to have ego death. That's like, I don't know if it's the Everest, but it's a marathon, right? Like 5,
yes.
And you did 7, which is
7 grams.
I'm no math doctor. That's 2 more than 5, right? If I'm
that is 2 more than 5.
So that must have been fucking nuts.
It was the biggest breakthrough I had, which was crazy, because there was moments of the beginning of the journey where it was like, oh, you want to go to sleep? You know what I mean? You want to sleep on stuff? You want to go to sleep? Well, then go to sleep for real. Fuck it. Do it here in Jamaica. How poetic would that be? Just, go to sleep forever here. And that way you don't have to worry about anything. That way, whatever thing holds you back, you don't have to worry about any of it. And it was like, wait a minute. Then that sort of other part of the ego came and said, well, who is telling you you can't? Who is telling you that you're not worthy? Who is telling you who is? Until you don't believe in yourself like other people believe in you, then you're just going to be continuously wanting to go to sleep, right? So it was on that huge journey. It was the biggest breakthrough of like, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. It's about believing in oneself. It's about thinking, behaving, and acting like the person you want to be.
Once mushrooms have helped you, and they've helped you do that.
So I wanted to say, so Robin wanted to ask you, and I said I'll do it for him. He wanted to ask you if you thought mushrooms was a greater trip, or if you thought ayahuasca was a different journey. What was the most extreme?
I've never sat with ayahuasca.
Okay.
I've never sat with ayahuasca. Now I have sat with 5-MeO DMT. And for
which is the desert toads.
Wow.
Right? Which, for those of you who do not know, it's the venom of these toads that live in Mexico, New Mexico. And what an incredibly profound.
No, that's a short. Experience. It's short or it's long?
Very short. No, it's short. Okay. It's about 10-15 minutes. They call it the God molecule. And from my experience, it was I realized that why they call it the God molecule is because you realize that you are God. Like you're God. Eric, you're God.
Oh, Robin, I know I'm God. I wasn't sure about Robin, but I'm pretty sure I'm God.
It's this sense.
I don't think Eric and I had any concerns there.
I was pretty sure, but I'm glad.
I could have told y'all that before it started.
The 5-MeO is definitely the sense of like, wow, life is so grand. There's so much to be had. There's so much to live. There's so much to be thankful for.
And just because Robin was curious, when in the 10 to 15 minute span there, right, is it like, so it starts, it's like an entire mushroom visit, right? In 10 to 15 minutes?
In 10 to 15, yeah.
I mean, that's got to be like,
aren't you out in the ether? Like you're gone,
insanity, right?
You're offline. You're off. Yeah, you're offline.
Okay.
It's sort of it's funny because if you look at my Instagram account, there's a picture of me during that journey, and I'm sitting in front of this vast green jungle there in Jamaica. And the moment the medicine kicks in, it catapults me right into that jungle, and I'm in this 8-dimensional jungle of I'm hearing every single animal that's roaming in this jungle. I'm seeing everything sway. I'm seeing every single hue of green that's in there. And the message was like, you see all this abundance, this never-ending vast of jungleness. That's what life is. Life is just abundance. You just have to see it. You have to see it to really believe it.
So the desert toad thing, all I know about it is from the chapter in changing our mind.
Yeah. How to change your mind.
How to change your mind.
Yeah.
So in the thing, this blew my mind because I had no idea this existed. But just for the general audience, I find that this is sort of interesting. So these toads live in the sand. They come out during the rainy season to feed and fuck, right? So you have to find these things at night. You wear a headlamp, and then you show the toad a mirror. It shoots the venom on the mirror. Then you have to wait till the venom crystallizes, and then you freebase the crystallized venom. In this book, he said that somebody else has to do it for you, has to light it on fire, because by the time your head hits the pillow, you're out. Was that your experience? Holy shit, real?
That was definitely my experience. So it was, it was funny.
Let's get some of this shit.
I was served by two beautiful people, two amazing couple from Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia, who served 5-MeO DMT, and it was beautiful. And it was crazy because he sat there and he served the medicine for me. She sat behind me and he says, okay, she's going to lift your arms as we count to 15. Oh and God. It was like, okay. And you're sitting there and you're inhaling the vaporized, crystallized venom. And as you start to count, she raises your arms and, okay, we're going to count to 15. And it was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it was blast off. It was just like shot right into that forest, and it was like, whoa. And everything's just very like type of situation. There's a lot of vibrational energy going on. And I've seen video of it because there was this retreat that they're starting. So they were documenting some of the journeys. I was like totally offline. Like I was just lost in
you're
sight.
Out, right?
Just like, you're just out. Like you're just completely out. And then somehow I fall back, you know what I mean? And I'm on the ground and I wake up moments later to this vastness of these bamboos and the sunlight coming in. It was just like, wait a minute, holy cow, life is so beautiful. Life is so amazing. And you sort of really come out of it going, everything is perfect. Everything at this moment is the way it should be, the way it has to be, and it's a beautiful sensation. It is a beautiful sensation.
This is why the world is so crazy. You got there because a Philadelphia Eagles fan presumably gave you some toad venom. Like, how would be real?
How? And then the other question is afterwards. I always ask myself, who was the first person that said, "How about if we take this toad venom?"
Yeah.
And
do you know how many animals venom you have to smoke before you go and talk to God?
It's like the mushrooms, right? They're like, I wonder what this one does, and you're like, well, it's so good, right?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to that ape theory, no? That ape theory of was it apes who sort of had mushrooms, and that's how consciousness was awakened, and we go from there. We evolved from there.
Well, presumably,
it's an interesting therapy.
Yeah, they said, I think Joe Rogan talked about it famously on his podcast, that we would chase like sort of wild bison or whatever, right? Big undomesticated cows. And where do mushrooms grow? So as we're following them to kill them, they would shit. Mushrooms would grow out of the shit. Little hungry, get a little snacky snack. And then all of a sudden we have consciousness. I think that makes sense, kind of.
Thank God they didn't eat the shit.
What's that?
Thank God they didn't eat the shit before the mushrooms.
We don't know. Well, a few of them ate the shit. They're not with us anymore. They were
like,
all right. So we only have 2.5 minutes left, but I want to. This is your website. You think everyone could benefit from this medicine?
I don't think psychedelics are for everybody. Let me paraphrase it. There's people that really have deep underlying psychosis and other situations that I think a therapist might be able to help more. Now, everyday normal people, I think that the experience is very beautiful when done with intentions, when done educating yourself, realizing what's going on. There's a lot of healing properties that could come out of this. I'm a big believer. And again, I'm just talking out of my personal experience and people who I've talked to. Like I tell people, I've never met anyone who's microdosing who's an asshole. Everyone who's microdosing has a smile. They're in the afterglow. They're just loving life. Life is wonderful. Life is great. They feel more authentic. They feel more creative. They feel more empathetic. And is that wrong? Is that bad? How could that potentially be bad?
We're living troubled lives on a finite planet. And I think if anything helps and makes you appreciate wind in your hands and fucking other people and you want to hug each other, that's got to be a good thing, right? That's objectively a better way to live.
Much better way to live. Much better way to live. Yeah. It's sort of look how wonderful this conversation has been. And we've been just talking about mushrooms. And this is just a conversation. A friend of mine said they want to do a podcast while they're tripping. Like all the guests have to come on and be high on mushrooms just to see what.
I think the audience would have to be high too to enjoy that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, look, it's a noble experiment, but so microdosing is good, and I can tell the audience macrodosing is fucking delightful too. So either way, I don't think you can lose mushrooms.
No. No.
Oh,
both. I recommend both.
Oh, it's great. Real quick, we have 30 seconds left, but you're going to start doing retreats yourself. You're going to be the spiritual guru and guide us.
Correct. I'm sort of, I'm getting people together to go on a couple of retreats down in Colombia next year. That, and I'm putting together a microdosing for over 50 course that I'm going to be offering up, because that's the idea. Sort of talk to my generation, talk to these people with 50. You know, well, if we get to 50 and shit starts to break down here or there, if there's something that sort of balances and make us better people and make us more authentic, then let's go. Let's go.
Is 42 close enough to 50? Can I come?
Yeah, of course you can, bro. You're always welcome.
Because my wheelhouse is high old chicks. So if there's anyone that can tag along, they love me. Oh my God. Cesar, you were incredible. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Love to have you back someday. Talk more about it.
Anytime. Would love to be on. Love what you guys are doing. Congratulations. More than 100 shows. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Keep bringing this levity, this warmth, this happiness, this joy at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Please continue to do that.
We're going to try. We need to monetize this though, so we can afford some medicine.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. See you tomorrow. Cesar, don't
Much
leave.
love.
I'm going to sign off for the thing, but you stay so we can talk more about medicine.
Yay.
We'll be back tomorrow, America. Goodbye.